Hello, and thank you for joining me again for another episode of Moving Mountains podcast. Once again, I'm Trishina Barzar Hunter, Master Certified Transformational Life Coach, Emotional Intelligence Coach, as well as Relationship and Sexuality Coach. I know you could spend your time doing anything and listening to anyone, but I appreciate you for being here and listening with me. I certainly hope that this episode provides you some value, helps you to make some change and move mountains in your life. Hey, beautiful ones. I want to thank you for joining me again for another episode of Moving Mountains podcast here on the Anchor app. This app has made it really easy for me to be able to bring you what I hope is great information that can bring positive transformation and change to your life. If you haven't done so, make sure that you download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And I want to thank you again for tuning in with me, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Ken, are you with me?
Are you with me? Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So for all my listeners, number one, I apologize because I have not been with you. I have not done an episode in some time. And I promised you a series of podcasts on sexuality, on insecurities, on sexual behaviors, patterns, and things of that nature. And then we had COVID, and a number of people haven't been able to make it because of other obligations in life happening. But as promised, today we have our episode on sexuality, intimacy, and insecurities from a male perspective with none other than the incredible Ken Kong out of Phoenix, Arizona, founder of Let's Talk About It Radio. It's a radio show, right?
Yep.
And the Underground Experience, which this gentleman said, you know what, I'm not trying to make no money, and just gave it to the community. And he does so all the time anyway. Anything he can do for the community, he's always doing, shedding light on mental health issues, Black issues, people issues, and really always putting in the work. So I am so honored to have him here today to discuss about intimacy and insecurities from a male perspective. Ken.
Yes. So good to be here with you after all this time of trying. We finally made it happen. I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. You know, we did so the first episode that we did in the sexuality series, we talked about female insecurities. And it was a pretty heavy episode with me and a very good friend of mine talking about the insecurities we experienced after going through a breast reconstruction. As a matter of fact, I was on your show. We were talking about mental health in the Black community as I was actually going through that process.
Right.
And about how that kind of impacts how we view ourselves and how we view the partner that we want, or our level of being comfortable with our partner. When I was doing my research and talking to different men about what sexuality topics they didn't feel were talked about, insecurities kept coming up, but I'm not a man. So tell me what that means for a man.
Sexual wise, I think number one, it's sort of like a given in the way things are in the world that a woman may not necessarily have to please a man off the rip. Women can use things like, it's going to take me some time to get comfortable with you. Once I get comfortable, I'll open up more, things of that nature. And men have to like take that and run with that. But when it comes to men, a lot of times, if you don't please that woman from the very first opportunity you have, you may never get another opportunity. Not only may you not get another opportunity, she might release the information to people that you don't want to know that type of information. And before you know it, there you see people that you were cool with, and they looking at you kind of strange, like, yeah, I heard about what happened. you know. So I think that comes into play, um, and not necessarily just performance, but your stability within the performance, like how long you're able to perform. Are you a 2 minute brother? Can you uh, get it back right again after you've had a session? Can you go to round two? Can you go to round three? Um, is he long enough physically to reach certain areas that this woman needs to have touched internally? Like these are the things that some men deal with and think about when they're having sexual encounters with people, especially for the very first time.
Okay, now you don't have to answer this question,
Uh-huh.
but I mean, have we had these experiences with people looking at us like, "Yo, I heard what happened." I mean, does that really go down?
I've never personally had that experience, and I'm not saying it from like a cocky um place. I think I learned early in the game, make sure that the woman gets hers first. Because if she gets hers first, then she doesn't have to worry about if you're being selfish. And she might be more willing to let you work through some things to get yourself where you need to be to please her. So I personally never have had that, but I do know people personally that I do know that has happened to.
Okay, I will say from a female standpoint, I don't think that the pressure to perform is strictly a male thing. Because I mean, I know as women, the the ratio of men to women, there's so many more women than there are men.
Correct.
So we have to be held to the standard of whatever you don't do, some other chick will. And if you suck at it, some other chick gonna be better at you. So you better be on your A game or you're not gonna have no man.
Yeah,
Or he gonna cheat.
but see, this is what I'm saying. That's the perfect example. You have a man, and he's dealing with you and maybe some of the inadequacies, the way he likes things done, but he's going to give you time to get there. Men usually, if they don't please a woman, it's not they don't get that opportunity to build up and to work through. If they're not pleasing a woman early in the game, especially an experienced woman, you're not gonna get them
No
opportunities again.
callbacks.
Yeah, exactly,
No callbacks, kick rocks.
exactly.
It was funny because I saw a post on Facebook. It's probably a year ago now, and it was like, "Stop telling them it's good when it's not. You lying, and they not getting any better." And
Mm-hmm.
for a while, it was like, "Just tell them it's trash, sis. Just tell them it's trash." So I can acknowledge that women can be fairly savage
Savage as hell.
as hell. Yeah. Because I'm one of those women. I may be a
Honesty is the
life
best
coach.
policy.
I may be a life coach, but I am one of those women, and I will tell you in a minute. Don't ever take your clothes off around me again, ever in your life.
Yep, it's happening.
The positive you have is I don't really have many friends, so not too many people don't find out that it's trash. But I'm not calling, and I'm not answering no phone calls.
Right.
But
Exactly.
it's got to be some give and take, and I would almost say that we got to this point because everybody rushing to sleep with somebody.
You think they rushing?
I think everybody's rushing.
I don't think
Everybody's
they.
rushing.
I don't think they rushing.
And then you don't know that person, so you find out you sleeping with somebody you half-ass know. You don't know them well. You don't know what they like. You don't know their dislikes. They don't know yours. They don't know that they can't touch you in a certain spot because it triggers a certain memory. Because y'all spent 15 minutes getting to know each other.
Yeah, but sometimes that happens.
Sometimes that happens. Okay.
But that's not always bad either. I think once you mature and you know your likes and dislikes and um, you know the energy that you're looking for from someone else. And if you get that energy, I think it's a natural thing that happens. And if it's natural and it doesn't feel forced and there's no shyness in the situation. It's 100% we're doing this and we're going to point with each other. I think that's beautiful. Now, what I have a problem with is people that want to put these, well, I don't kiss on the first date, but I'll kiss on the second date. Or I don't sleep with anybody on the first date, but I'll sleep with you on the second date. Like, what does that matter at the end of the day? If you hold off 24 hours to kiss somebody or to have sex with them and you wanted to do it the first day, like, is not having sex with somebody or not kissing somebody on the first day going to make them stay around after the second day when you do?
Not at all. But
Exactly.
I will agree with you that those types of timelines, I don't know, stop reading that BS. What the hell is that crap Steve Harvey wrote?
I don't read that. So,
You know, what is that?
yeah,
Act like a woman, think like a man. What is that
yeah,
crap he wrote?
yeah. Something like that.
Here's the thing. Like, you know, if you got your standards, you got your standards, right? But if you have something with somebody, then that should be the deciding factor, in my opinion.
Exactly.
You know, you may not feel you might have a great chemistry, but you might not feel all the way there the first date. That's fine. Or the second date or the third.
Right. If it's not there, it's
But
not there.
if it's not there, it's not there. And if it's, you know, if there is something there and you want to see where it goes, that's a different story. But
I
putting a
agree.
thousand rules in place that don't apply to everybody, that you putting everybody in one box.
Yep.
You already said that this person, whether you a male or a female, you've already said this person's the same as the last 10 people I've dated, or 5 or 3 or whatever. So you came into the battle losing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's my thing. If I meet you and everything is right and everything happened naturally and we wind up in the bedroom, I'm cool with that. If we vibe and everything cool, but we either one of us know like we're not ready to kiss or do anything else, I'm cool with that too. Because it's me learning, you know. Sometimes your connection with other people is different than you have with other people. And I tend to find myself in experiences that I've had, some of the best encounters I've had with women were with women that I wasn't 100% head over heels with off the jump anyway. Like I didn't see him and I just went, oh my God, I gotta know who this woman is. It was like, she's cool. Let's see what's up. Then you meet other women, you just want to have sex with them immediately. But sometimes those don't wind up being the best experiences. So
I have a
I
name for that.
what is the name?
I can't use the B word, but it's the pretty girl syndrome.
The pretty girl syndrome.
But I mean, and it even falls for the pretty boy syndrome too, because a lot of times when somebody is fly, male or female, super fine, whatever, or is used to getting lots of sexual attention, or oh my God, you so fine, oh my God, you so beautiful attention. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen it with men and women. They feel like once you get them naked, you just lucky to be there, so they don't got to do nothing.
I call them the flatbackers.
See, we got names for it, right?
Right. She don't want to do nothing. Like I used to deal with that for a long time, but that was when I didn't know that I had options to say, no, this doesn't please me. Because as a man, you kind of feel like women have the option of saying, um, just perfect saying is happy wife, happy life.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is for the man about him being happy in his life? So as a male, we always feel like I have to please this woman. It's not about her pleasing me. Like you
We're
said,
gonna
I'm
pause
just
here.
happy
We're
to
gonna
be
pause here for
here.
a second
Yeah.
because I want my listeners to catch one thing that you said a few moments ago, and it's
Hmm.
you said because I'm learning her.
Right. I'm learning.
I'm learning, and
Right.
the problem, and it ties into what you said right here, is that We aren't learning our partners and our mates.
Right.
And women do it and men do it. Like, this is what I do, this is what I'm comfortable with, and I don't deviate. So we don't learn, we don't evolve. So our relationships don't always learn and evolve because our intimacy doesn't.
Mm. And I think part of that has to do with we don't get to see intimate relationships a lot of times in a positive light, or we don't have someone that tells us, I know at least I didn't, that it's okay to tell the woman that you really are in love with, that you love her and you value her and you don't want her to leave. I was told, you don't need no woman. It don't matter how you feel. If she want to go, let her go and get you another one. So I looked at every woman like, well, you cool, but why should I give you my all when I can replace you? Then you
Mm-hmm.
get a little older, and then you start going, well, this relationship didn't work, this didn't happen, this didn't work, this didn't work. And the only constant in every one of those relationships was yourself. Now, what I was saying before, where I wasn't pleased sexually, and I didn't know that I could speak up and say, look, that's you're not pleasing me. I need you to work, I need you to please me too. Once I realized I had the power to say that, when I would meet a woman, I'd be like, okay, perform for me. Let me see what your talent and skill level is at. That's why let me see where you are. So that would be like my deciding factor of how much I would like a woman. Like, oh, she get bomb head. She's moving upstairs. She's cool, or she may not know how to do it, but her energy and her willingness to want to learn and get better, I can't do nothing but respect that and move her up the ladder. Then you have the ones that's like, well, this is what I do. I don't really do that. Okay, cool. I know what me and you stand. Period. Because if a woman meets a man and he says, well, this is just me and this is what I do, and if this ain't enough, I don't know what to tell you. A woman gonna leave him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that is a fact. One thing you said a moment ago is that, kind of like you weren't taught an intimacy. And I hear that with my clients too.
Right,
We were taught about sex. We were
right.
taught, get yours. You better make sure you get yours because they're gonna get theirs. We were taught about sex and being a freak or being this or being that. But we weren't taught about the true intimacy.
Exactly.
That part that comes along with that. A lot of people were not taught about that. Holding somebody, holding their hand, playing with their hair, rubbing your man's back, you know what I'm saying? Knowing he had a hard day.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes a question not so much of your insecurities, and this goes for men and women too, because it's on both sides. I've seen it. How comfortable are you with intimacy? What's your knowledge of intimacy? What does intimacy mean to you? Because good sex only gonna take you so far.
Right,
And then if intimacy is missing, you're gonna realize you don't have shit. You don't have nothing.
right. And at the end of the day, if your communication ain't on point anyway, you already headed for doom, whether you know it now or not. Intimacy and communication, they're like brother and sister.
Absolutely.
If you don't have one or the other, something's missing.
It seems like, on both sides. I don't know. Maybe I think women are more afraid to communicate what they want than men.
No,
No?
no, not at
Okay,
all.
break it down for me. Tell me.
A woman could tell a man straight up before he even had sex with her, this is what I want. And if you can't do that for me, leave me alone.
You think men don't say that?
Not on the level that women do.
Oh hell. Okay. Those must
Because
maybe your friends.
men men are taught to try to make sure that they can please a woman. That's our main goal. Like when when you get a little confident, little age in your, what I'm saying, experience and maturity, like, okay, I know how to handle my business. So you have to learn how to cater yourself to this specific woman. But the basis of pleasing her, you got that part down. It's just finding out the little things that makes her tick and makes her purr a little bit more than somebody else. But with women, when it comes to men, if a man isn't taking care of his business to the woman's level, she won't respect. Look, I'll put it this way. I had this analogy. A man can be the perfect husband, the perfect father, the perfect provider, the perfect person in the community, the perfect person in his family. But if he's not taking care of his woman sexually, she ain't gonna respect him. If a woman don't feel like this man can come in here right now and take me to places I've never been to before and do it on a regular basis, she's not gonna respect him. If he's hitting that thing right and he leaves his shoes in the middle of the floor, she's gonna say, "Oh, he must have been tired. Let me get his shoes and put them up for him." If he's not hitting that thing right and those shoes in the middle of the floor, she's gonna be like, "Am I your maid? Do you think that I'm supposed to clean up after you?" That's what happens when you're not hitting it right.
I love the candidness of this conversation. Ladies, I want you to hear one thing if you're listening. Ken just said here, he has to learn that thing that makes her purr, right? That gets that spot, that gets that tingle. Ladies, that's your responsibility too. That's your responsibility too, to learn that thing. Let's go back a ways. We're gonna go back a little ways. When we did our session on the sisters and some of the things that we have insecurity, it was just like our bodies, our physical, feeling
Right.
adequate physically because of things we've been through, scars, things we've endured. Is that something men go through?
I think the only thing that men worry about is how she looks at his situation when it's unveiled. Period.
Okay, so we're talking about his packaging.
Exactly.
What does he bring into the table?
Exactly. Because men look like what they look like. Like a woman can wear clothes and be like, "Oh my God, I didn't know her body was like that." But men pretty much look what they look like. So a woman knows what the package is like physically. It's just when he unveils himself and it's time to handle business, that's when they go, "Okay." Or they give him the look like, ugh. Or they don't say anything. And they just, say, "Nah, I'm cool right now."
Nah, I'm good.
Exactly.
Nah, I'm good. Nice
Right.
meeting you.
Right.
That was sweet. Thanks.
Exactly.
I can't say women don't do that. I
They
can't.
do it.
I can't say women don't do that.
See, men are
So
like this. 99.9% of men are like this. Well, I'm here now. So uh it don't matter what you look like because I already made the decision that I was gonna do this. And I'm here now. I didn't cancel my other plans with other people I probably could have been with, or I could have been at home chilling or kicking it somewhere. Well, I'm here now, so let's go.
I ain't worried about your scars. Come on.
I ain't worried about none of that. Put it this way: if men were so vain about a woman's body, as soon as they take their clothes off and you see stretch marks from having kids and all that kind of stuff, we'd be done right then and there. But we'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool. I just want to see what this feels like." That's it. I just want to see what she feel like, and how and her wetness level, her grip level, her we that's what we worrying about.
Ladies, I hope you're listening about what they worried about. They not caring about what you look like.
No, because if we already made the commitment to do that with you, then we pass all that.
At what point do you make that commitment mentally?
You know, earlier in the game than not, other most of the time, sometimes it's a shock where a woman might put it out there straightforward, and you like, damn, I didn't even know that was an option. But now that it's an option, let me turn that part of my brain on that says, all right, we may have to do some work, and then it's on.
So ultimately, from a male perspective, what would you want to say to the brothers? And what do you think sisters really need to know about intimacy and male insecurities when it comes to what we do with each other?
I think from a female situation, from a female to a male, um, ask him what he likes and ask him what he doesn't like. Because most women never ask those questions of men. But most men will ask those questions to a woman.
The other thing, when I started to say, like, I think that women don't communicate as much, what I was really saying is I work a lot with different women. I do sex coaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
And women can have a partner they've been with forever, but
And not be pleased forever.
not necessarily that. But women in some circles, not all, are taught good girls don't do this. You don't do that. If you do this, he's not gonna respect you. And it could be that husband, you know?
Right.
But there'll be some off the wall pornographic shit that she wanna try that she's afraid to communicate because of old school ideologies that she's been told.
And
So
let me
she
speak.
won't communicate that. This is something I want to try. So I'm always telling my both my male and female clients, make a list. If you have a strong partner that you're down with, make the nastiest, raunchiest list of all the things you want to try with your mate. And once a month, pick something off each other's list and try it. Fail miserably and laugh about it.
I can speak on that. That goes back to communication, number one. Number two, if you're with someone and you're not comfortable to speak with them, or they make you feel belittled for the thoughts that you have about things that you want to try, you with the wrong person.
Fact.
And you're never gonna be happy.
And that works both ways. That's not just a male thing or a female thing. You should be able to communicate with your partner
Right.
what your
Now
needs
there
are.
now there are certain things that if you don't do it, then don't do it. And then
That's
you
true.
have to then make decisions. Like me, I'm pretty much cool with everything except you not putting nothing in my anus. Period.
Know your boundaries, both men and women. Know your
Exactly.
boundaries.
So if you have a problem with me because that's not what I do, you need to either suck it up and deal with it or move on with your life because that's never going to be part of what I do.
And it's really big for men and women. Maybe mostly women, but know your boundaries and
Right.
know how far you want to explore beyond your boundaries.
Exactly.
Because you may not want to be in your boundary box forever. You might get bored.
And then I've also had where you've experienced certain things with other people, but when it comes to dealing with someone else, you don't want to do that with them. And here's an example. I knew of someone who dealt with someone and they liked, you know, to have anal sex with that one person. But that was because that one person couldn't get them to the level that they needed to be vaginally. So when they met someone that could get them to the level vaginally that the other person could only do anally, They said, I don't even need anal with you because you take care of me the way I really like to be taken care of. That don't even that's not even something we need to even discuss anymore.
And I mean, and Ken, you can answer this for me if
Hmm.
men have triggers, but I know that some women have triggers from previous relationships that create different boundaries of that nature. It may have been something where they enjoyed anal and then that relationship really bad, or he abused her, and so maybe something sexually can really trigger something. I had a friend that was assaulted, and that person went down on her,
Yeah.
and to this day she can't stand somebody to have oral sex with her,
Anytime I've ever,
or on her. Like
yeah,
she can't stand. She will not let somebody give her oral sex to this day, because the person that assaulted her, that was the first thing he did.
right. And I've been with a few different women that told me, "Oh, I love to perform oral, but you don't have to do it to me." And my next question was, "Is there something that you need to tell me that happened?" And they tell me,
And for
"Yes,
my men listening, I want you to notice that he asked the question.
exactly."
He cared enough about whether she was a girlfriend or whatever, cared enough to ask the question, because those real triggers will come up. And ladies, if you don't say something and he hits that trigger point, neither of y'all gonna know why you hauled off and hit him in the middle of sex.
Or say, "Get off of me."
Yeah. And now
And
y'all
you,
both freaked out.
and because I've been in that situation, and I was because she kind of started hyperventilating. I'm like, "You okay?" And she was just like, "Get off me." And I was like, "All right." And I got off her, and I didn't leave. I just didn't. I gave her the space she needed though, and then she told me that brought back a memory of something that happened to me, and that was when I first was dealing with someone that had been assaulted. So dealing with her led me to having a better communication with the women after that, once I found out that they had been assaulted. So, because what you don't want to do is be in conversation with somebody and say a phrase, and then their whole body, energy, everything just change, and you go, what's wrong? Everything okay? And then they say, my ex-boyfriend used to say things like that.
Yeah.
And you like, well, I'm not your ex-boyfriend. But it doesn't matter at that point because
Because
you
it
just
still
hit
hurts.
something that made her go pause and made you go, okay, now we need to talk on a deeper level because I need to know what it is I said or what I cannot say or what makes you feel uncomfortable. But like you say, you have to care enough to want to know those things.
So for my men listening, Ken said some really powerful things here, but they were simple. It's really summed up in four words: stop, ask, listen, pause. It's real simple. She started acting weird, or and women too, because men go through stuff. Stop, ask, listen. Like one of the things you said, which is something that I know I've heard a number of times as a woman. Well, I'm not them.
Right.
Yeah, it that does not take away the memory that it sparks or the wound that it opens.
Correct.
And that is a very callous, uncaring remark that you can make to somebody that you just basically push the trauma button.
Right. Because sometimes when you hit that button, it's a wrap. Like sometimes there's no coming back without getting like real help to get things back on track. Because
Absolutely.
once someone doesn't believe that they can trust you anymore, it's hard to ever get that trust back.
Absolutely. And then when you think about it, I mean, I don't know much about male assault. I know it happens, right?
Hmm.
But I know that women so often don't report it.
Yeah, and a lot of times with men, when little boys get assaulted, they keep it in the closet, they keep it in the family, and a lot of times these boys grow up and they're confused and they're angry and they live a lifestyle that they necessarily don't believe that they should be living, but it's like they're shamed. Like if
Right.
it happens to a little boy, it's different than when it happens to a little girl. Not different in the action. What I say about that is usually if it happens to a little girl, if the right people are there, they're gonna try to find this person. They're gonna try to report this person. They're gonna try to do whatever they got to do. They're gonna take the little girl to get her checked. They're gonna get the kid out. They're gonna make sure that if she's been violated. They're gonna do all that kind of stuff. If it's reported, most times that it happens to young men, it's not reported, and then these young men sort of get put in a position where they're ridiculed after it. Like, yeah, but they didn't do that to me. He did it to you. So what was it about you that made him feel comfortable to do it to you and not me? So you probably was already like that anyway.
Well, and I kind of have to go back to something you said because I have a lot of women that I know that were sexually assaulted a number of times when they were, I mean, we're talking about from the age of 5 to the age of 13,
Right,
by multiple people, and family members knew about it and looked the other way.
right.
So
And
they came
usually,
up just
and,
like
and,
those men you talked
right,
about, you know?
right. But usually in those situations, those parents went through the same thing.
Exactly. It's generational.
It's generational. But no one looks at a little girl and goes, "Oh, because he did you like that, he must have saw something in you." They always look at the pedophile like, "Oh, you were the innocent person. He was doing this to you." With little boys, a lot of times they get shamed for being assaulted.
That shame happens for women too, but I think the most important thing here, I mean, because I mean, I've definitely seen the shame with the girls because I have a lot of women clients. I have men clients too, but my sexual assault clients are women,
Hmm.
and it goes back to childhood, and they go through that same shame of what did you do?
Right,
If you wasn't so fast, if you wasn't so hot in the ass, I've
right,
seen it. I've heard all of
right,
it, and it sounds like boys get some kind of version of that too, right?
right. Oh yeah, they do.
But we talked about like how it's passed down. It was somebody that usually it happened to them. So somebody in the family in the prior generation did it, and
Right,
sometimes the generation beyond that.
right,
But it goes back to this whole we suffer in silence thing. You like when we did the episode of your show, it was about mental health in the Black community.
right,
And I think one of the brothers talked about himself being assaulted as a kid, right?
right. And I was shocked because I didn't know.
I didn't know either. And we were both like, wow, shit, okay. Um,
Right,
but at the same time, we talked about like this whole thing from generation to generation to generation. You don't say nothing. You keep it in the family. You don't air out your dirty laundry. What happens in this house stays in this house.
exactly.
Or my favorite, just pray about it. It'll go away.
Right, that's
Or
true.
if you wasn't sinning, that wouldn't have happened to you. Well, I mean, I was 5. How much sinning could I have done at 5? And I don't mean me personally. I wasn't assaulted as a child, but these are the things that we hear, and that's the stuff that's got to stop. So that when we grow up to be adults, when we get to be adults and we having these relationships, we actually have an understanding of intimacy. It's not, oh, well, to hell with you. You can be replaced, kick rocks.
Right.
Because that could have been your whole future. You just kicked out the door, but you don't say I love you or I'm sorry. And that's not just men, that's women too.
Yeah.
We
It's
got we got to learn it's okay to say I love you and I'm sorry. Those two phrases.
right. That is true. And not to say that it's the only cause, but most people that I know that live any sort of alternative lifestyle, when I've had communication with them, 9 times out of 10, or let me say 99 times out of 100, there was some assault early in life that caused them to feel like, I never want that to happen again, or I'm going to take the power back and be in control of that. So the same way it happened to me, I'll be in control of if I do it to someone else. They won't have the power over me anymore. So, and it's a lot of things that we don't deal with, like you said, especially in the Black community. You can have someone get their head blown off right next to you, and you go, man, I think I need to see somebody, and somebody will tell you, you don't need to see nobody. You need to here have a drink, here smoke some weed,
Right.
here let's get high, take your mind off it. What?
And then we have the same people that don't choose an alternative lifestyle, but because that's what they've seen with their families,
Right.
they get high about it. They drink about it. They
And
keep
they go,
looking for
what?
the bottom of the bottle.
Why is this 12-year-old girl keep running away? Why don't she want to come home? Uh, yeah, why don't she want to come home? What's going on where she don't feel safe in her house? And the mother will go, you know what? You just don't listen. You need to be out of here. You want to be grown, then get out.
Mama, I tried to tell you. We got to stop blaming everything on sin and evil.
Right.
We got to start holding people accountable. We got
I
to start
agree.
talking about this stuff with the right people. Because you got some people that you'll talk to that'll do a whole lot more harm than good.
Right.
When it comes to your sexuality, define that mess for yourself, whether you female or male.
Right.
If you have a partner, if you have needs, if you female or male, communicate that shit. If
Let
something
me
seems
know.
off with your, yeah, let me know. If something's off with your partner, something they react some kind of way, ask, pause, listen, hear, care enough to hear, and know why that's just not okay. Ladies, you want to try something new? Tell him. And if you can't tell him that, just like Ken said, that's not the dude. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. What else you think we got to add, Ken? What I missed? Because I know I missed something.
I don't know. What have you missed? We intimacy. I don't think we dealt with real intimacy yet. We talked about it, but from a male perspective.
Yeah, that's something we definitely. So okay, what is intimacy to Ken? Because we don't have all men on the phone today.
Right. If to me, um, I need to, when I see you, I need to feel like you're happy to see me. When I talk to you on the phone, I want to hear happiness in your voice that you're talking to me. If you texting me, I need you to send me some little emojis or something to let me know that you happy that we're in communication. To me, and I never was like this as a young. I used to wonder why is this girl all over me? I don't need you all on me like that. Now that I'm older, I'm like, the more you on me, the better. Lay on me, rub the back of my head, playing my hair, kiss me, look in my eye. I need all of that.
Ladies, y'all heard that Ken Kong, his love language is physical touch. In case you missed it,
Physical touch and works.
words of affirmation. And that's
Yeah,
another thing. Know your love languages because that's where your intimacy lies. You can't communicate to your partner what your intimacy is if you don't know your love languages.
right. And then
My
on what's the other one where uh
You have words of affirmation.
uh-huh.
You have gifts, quality
I do
time,
quality
physical
time.
physical touch, and acts of service.
Acts of service.
I
Acts
am
of service.
100% quality time and physical touch.
I'm acts of service and physical touch.
I believe that.
Words of affirmation are cool, but if you cook me dinner,
Mm-hmm.
or if you say, "Hey baby, I know you was running late, so I wanted to make sure I took care of that for you, so you don't have to worry about that." You do that kind of stuff for me, I'm like, this woman love me. She ain't got to tell me she love me every
I
day. She
know
don't
it.
need
She's
to do
showing
none
it.
of that. She's showing me.
So y'all, men and women, know your love language and know your partners. I know mine. Mine are hands down quality time and physical touch. Why? The most important thing we have on this life is time.
Yes, that's true.
If someone values me enough to give me their time, of all the things they could be doing, and then affection, play with my hair, I'm good.
Hmm.
But everybody ain't the same.
Everybody's not the same. That's why you need to,
You need to know
yeah,
yours and you need to know your mates. And if you don't know, ask.
right.
And then when you find out, if you're trying to make that shit work, put in the effort.
So true. So true.
And then you might
Ah,
gain a
man.
deeper understanding into intimacy that you didn't have before.
Right.
Because it ain't how fast you can get naked. It's not how fast you can get it off. What you got to add, Cam?
Um, getting getting naked fast is okay.
Get
If
naked
y'all
fast.
if y'all in agreement with that. If y'all in agreement with that.
Oh, that's right. Ken
Um,
said earlier, throw out that calendar.
right. Because we need that. That we need that. And let me say this. This is why you see the most hard, most gangsterous men on the planet Earth melt and become little boys around their girls or their women or their wives. Is because no matter how old we get, we want somebody that we can be vulnerable with and we can be intimate with. Some of us get there before others, but at the end of the day, we want that too. It's it it's something that I had to learn. I had to learn what communication was because I didn't value relationships from women. I value relationships from men more than women because most of my male friends I've had them years and years and years. But relationships, I always felt like they're never going to work anyway. So why put my all into a relationship?
And that's a lot
You
of people
know,
that think that too,
exactly.
male and
Like
female.
most of my friends that were married were either single again, divorced, separated, or miserable. So I said, well, hell, why am I in a rush to be in a relationship and get married when this is what the future holds for me? But I let that in my energy. I let that into my psyche. I let that in all my thought process, not knowing that a relationship that's good, there's nothing better than when two people are in love with each other. There is nothing better on the face of this earth.
I do
Two
believe you
people
are right.
that two people in sync, in love with each other on the same page, ain't nothing better than that. Nothing.
So it's time to raise our level of intimacy. Kind of like you were saying, the hardest person, the one to act like they don't need nobody. I'm telling,
Right.
I'm always teaching, we get told we supposed to be boss bees. We supposed to be Miss Independent, never need nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So that we walk around like we don't need nobody. I got this. I don't need you. Nah, deep down, you want to be vulnerable. You want somebody to take the load so you ain't got to carry it all by yourself because that shit get heavy. That shit
Right.
get real heavy real fast. We are human beings. We were not put on this earth to carry everything by ourselves. And I think
That's
you right.
true.
Deep down, everybody wants that partner that's compatible, that can help carry the load. Not carry the load for you or carry all the load, but share the load. Ken, this has been a dope set. I'm really happy that you came on. I think we covered a bit. We got a lot more to cover, I think. But
There's always more to cover.
there's always more to cover. But I think we got a great start, and I appreciate you so much because, you know, you've been doing this for years, sharing real shit, like things that we need to know in our community and for our people, and constantly giving yourself. So I appreciate your time and your effort and being here. You have been awesome. I thank you for sharing your insight and being transparent. Is there anything you want to add?
Oh, just thank you for finally getting me on. I've been waiting for so long to have some one-on-one time with you. So it's been awesome. And, you know, I feel the level of intimacy between us is growing every second of this phone call.
I'm not messing
Appreciate you.
with you today. For all y'all listening, don't pay no attention to Ken. But definitely look him up because when COVID is over, I'm planning to bring the underground back.
We'll be back.
We're not messing with Ken today. But yes, I'm praying when all this COVID goes away, we can go back to the underground experience.
Yes.
Ken will be back with Let's Talk About It. And if you have it, are those episodes cataloged somewhere, Ken?
They're on Facebook. I need to catalog them. I just been so busy lately that but I need to
So
catalog them.
Ken's gonna get me a link so I can post it in this for you. And as soon as I get it, I'm gonna post it because those episodes have some great information that you all need. And on that note, I just want to thank you again for spending some time with Moving Mountains podcast.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate it. My email is iamkenkong@gmail.com. My Facebook is I am Ken Kong 1 and 2, and on Instagram is I am Ken Kong. So thank you again. Keep moving all these mountains. Thank you for having me, and we will do it again soon, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.
If you have enjoyed this episode and you want to keep in contact with me, you can locate me both on Facebook and Instagram. The handles on both of those sites are going to be at Moving Mountains Coach. My website is www.movingmountainslifecoach.com. Again, www.movingmountainslifecoach.com. I do look forward to hearing from you. Reach out to me, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, share it with your friends. And of course, if you'd like to book a one-on-one session with me, I am available. Go to my website, contact me on Facebook or Instagram. I am happy to chat with you and get you booked for a free introductory discovery session in terms of what it's like to work with a master certified life coach. Have a great day, and remember, every mountain can be moved if you are willing to take the first step.